Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. I really appreciate the support that we've been getting recently. And if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. It's not much, but it really helps us out, so thank you very much for that. Just a little quick disclaimer before we get going. Obviously, well not obviously, but in Auckland today it's very windy. And we have those little drop-in ceilings. So I've done my best to mitigate it, but the problem is when it's windy, they kind of bang up and down and like rattle and stuff. So if you can hear that throughout this video, that's going to be why. So I'm sorry, I've done as much as I can about it, but it's probably still going to happen. So apologies for that. But yeah, let's get cracking. Today's topic is we're going to be talking about these guys here. You can kind of see them here. We'll get them a little bit closer maybe. But we're going to be talking about axolotls. This is my little axolotl here called Franklin, who, if you've ever been into the shop, is sitting in his pipe pretty much 24/7 basically. But yeah, that's him there. You can't really see him that well, but there's only so much I can do to tempt him out. So he's what they call a leucistic, which is like the color variety. We'll adjust that so we can actually see his tank a bit better. So yeah, he's what they call a leucistic, which is basically like albino but with black eyes. In New Zealand we can get the leucistics. We can get like true albinos, which is like albino body but with red eyes. We can get the wild types, which is like black brown kind of color. I got one up there, I'll show you later on. And we can get like the gold ones, like yellow. They're called gold, but like they're yellow. But yeah, I'm aware there's more that we can get overseas, but this whole video is going to be very like New Zealand focused, obviously, because that's what I know, that's where we are, that's where a lot of you guys are from. But yeah, I mean, you can get all sorts overseas, of course. But yeah, that's basically the different color varieties. One of the reasons that they're really cool and really popular is they have a really sort of profound ability to regrow body parts. I think it's up to like 2/3 of their brain they can grow back. Obviously legs, arms, tails, like all this kind of thing. They can just like, if it gets bitten off or like damaged in an injury or something, or like chopped off, obviously, hopefully we don't have that happen, but like if it gets chopped off like in the lab or something, it'll grow back. So that's actually really interesting, and really something quite cool about them. Obviously I'm sure they're doing all these tests to figure out how we can get that into humans. If you have an accident and lose your leg, then maybe you can grow one back one day, but for now just these guys are the only ones that can do it. But it's pretty cool. I find they're really popular like with kids and like families and stuff, because it's like a bit of a pet. It's a bit more than just like just a fish essentially. So yeah, I think they're really cool animals, and I really recommend getting them. I think there's a lot to do. Throughout this video, by the way, I'm going to be looking to the side here. That's just where I stuck my post-it note that has my notes, so if you're wondering what I'm looking at, it's nothing exciting. But yeah, in terms of the basic tank size and that, like a US 20-gallon long or like a 70-litre aquarium will be fine. Bigger the better. I definitely wouldn't... That's kind of the consensus. I'd say it's probably a little bit on the small side, but it's acceptable. But yeah, bigger the better. Ideally, I mean like a 3-foot, 150-litre, 40-gallon tank will be perfect for them. Sort of long term, you can get maybe a couple of them in that sort of tank without any trouble. In terms of the setup for the tank, you want like, you can kind of see it here, like real like fine white sand, or you can do like bare bottom or like tiles or that kind of thing. You definitely don't want to do like gravel, like the bigger stones, because basically the way they eat is they like force all the water out their gills, and then it like sucks the food in. But obviously then they're going to suck in rocks, and then they get what's called like impacted, which is like it gets stuck inside them, and then obviously they're going to die from that. So we want to obviously avoid that. So fine sand will just pass through them, no trouble. They won't even notice it going through. So that's the best way to keep them healthy. Aside from that, you just want like some sort of cave. Like he's got like a PVC pipe, but like any sort of like cave or like hide. You can stack a couple of rocks on top of each other. Do a little PVC pipe. They do like all sorts of ornaments. Like it looks like a log, but it's just like a big hollow thing, like that kind of thing. And then the other thing is you want a real dim light. That basically they're not going to appreciate light, so you want it quite dim. The only thing is that's obviously going to be pretty hard on plants, so generally like fake plants is the best option. If you want to do live, do like Java moss, Java fern, Anubia species, crypts, stuff like Ambulia. But I wouldn't expect like a hard out planted tank, because like basically like the light is not going to be good enough, and they're going to like just sit on the plants and squash them basically, and all that kind of thing. I would also put a lid. I know this doesn't have a lid, but he doesn't drop, so like it's fine, but they can shoot up and fall out. So like a lid is going to be ideal. The other thing is like they like it cool, so you want it like 18 degrees Celsius at the most probably. In New Zealand at least, generally it's fine, just like room temperature. If it does get too hot, what you can do is get like a desk fan and like blow it across the top of the water. That'll take a couple degrees off. Otherwise like a proper chiller will be the best option. Obviously it's a bit more expensive, but they're definitely the most efficient sort of methods. In terms of like the parameters, same as everything, like no ammonia, no nitrite, nitrates below 40 parts per million. At the most, ideally below 20 parts per million. So you want to do water changes to keep on top of that. With the pH, you don't want it acidic. You want it neutral to alkaline, so like 7 plus. Just acidic water is a little bit hard on their slime coat, but 7 plus pH will be fine for them. They'll be happy as with that. In terms of tank mates, you don't want any tank mates, like in terms of fish or snails or anything like that. Anything's just gonna like pick at them, or like they're gonna eat them. Just nothing is best. If you have a big enough tank, you can do multiple axolotls, but you don't want to mix sexes. So keep only boys or only girls. What happens if you have both is the males will be real rough on the females, and they'll just get beaten up and kind of die, which obviously we want to prevent. So just a male only tank and a female only tank is going to be your best bet. Just make sure your tank's big enough and your filtration kit can keep up with it and all that sort of thing. In terms of the diet, I've got these here which I'll show you. So this is the best one I recommend, is the JBL Novolotl, just like pellets, same idea as like a fish, just feed them pellets. We've also got the Rapashi grub pie here. That's the other one. This is like a powder that you mix with a boiling water, and then it will create a gel, and then you can just feed that out to them. Those are going to be your best options in terms of food. You can also do like earthworms, is a good option. You can get a little earthworm farm going. That's really good because like it gets the kids involved. Kids always love it. Who can find the biggest worm kind of thing. But yeah, those are food. Don't feed like mealworms; they won't be able to digest because like a mealworm's got an exoskeleton. Feed a fish is a bad idea. I'm not a fan of it, but if you must do like the feed a fish, if you must do the feed a fish, do like guppies and platers and stuff. Don't do goldfish and that, because basically they have thiominase, which is like basically think of it like poison essentially. So don't do that. But yeah, I mean they'll be happy as with just grub pie and pellets and earthworms and that kind of thing. Those will have all the things that you need to ensure that you've got a well-fed, happy axolotl for the long term. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of an overview of sort of the must-haves, the important parts. The only other thing is like in terms of the filtration, you want like good filtration, but it doesn't need to be like crazy. So I always think media volume is the most important part, not necessarily flow rate, and especially when it comes to these guys, because they're not going to like a lot of flow. So what you want to do is just like, canister filter with like a spray bar pointed at the glass will be fine. But yeah, just keep that flow low, keep the lights dim, leave they're not like being handled or anything, so just like leave them be. You can obviously look at them and everything, but don't want to be playing around with them or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of the overview, I guess, of all the important parts to know. The only other thing is something I'm going to show you here, which we'll get up with. This is a wild type here, and this is what they call tubbing. So as you can see here, she's like in water that's like just deeper than her body. So if your axolotl gets sick, this is what you want to do. Just chuck her in a tub with fresh, clean, cool, dechlorinated water. And what that gives you all the time in the world to figure out what's needed to this will cure a lot of things, but sometimes you need like some tannins in the water, or they might need like some antibiotics or something, depending on what's going on. But that's basically a quick overview of tubbing, which kind of gives them the sort of thing they need, the time they need. Like as I said, they have very good sort of immune systems and everything. Like they can grow back limbs, they can deal with little infection stuff, like clean water, and that will clean up most things. But as always, like consult your vet and stuff for your specific situation. But that's kind of the best first step. A lot of people, especially like Americans, talk about fridging. That's only really like if it's a life or death situation. For most times, like 99% of times, it's not needed. Don't worry about it. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of an overview of axolotls. I really recommend you should, like, especially if you've got kids, but if you're at all interested, like if you're watching this video, you should get them. You're already interested enough where like it's pretty, like you'll love them. They're such fun little, like they are a true pet, and they're so much fun. So I'd really recommend getting them if they're at all on your radar. They're just such fun little creatures. So yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, let me know. The other thing is this is a little thing I've noticed. Everyone who has an axolotl has a fantastic name for them. So let me know what yours is called, because I bet it's a great name. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them below. Make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Love you all, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.